Okay, so tell me what happened with Nathan.
Well, I was home vacuuming, getting ready for a party, and my neighbor came over and said, I need you to come with me. So we're going up to the baseball field. She was trying to be calm. I said, oh, what's going on? And she said, well, the last thing I heard was they got his heart going. And I went, excuse me? Nathan's had an issue in the field at 5 Skyline High. So he had been walking through the field up in Skyline with his brother and a neighbor. They got stung by some bees, all 3 of them. But Nathan, I guess, got it the worst. A little while later, Joshua came back and said that Nathan looked pretty bad. He'd fallen and his lip was bleeding, and so my husband came rushing up the stairs as best he could and around the fence and noticed that Nathan had been breathing. They were just trying to keep him alive until they could get him to the hospital. But as I was pulling into Skyline, the ambulance was just coming out, and I stopped and John opened the door.
Was he in the ambulance?
Yes.
Did you see Nathan in there?
Well, I jumped in the ambulance. I was on John's lap, and I looked back, and they were working on him.
Like CPR?
Mm-hmm. And they were using the electrical shocks, which is not a pretty sight to see.
I didn't know that you saw them doing that.
Yes.
So his heart had stopped at that point?
Yes. They were just trying to get him to breathe and his heart going. So we got at the hospital, and when I got there, his little ears and his fingers and his toes.
What, were they a different color?
Yes.
Were they like blue?
Yes.
His ears were blue?
Because all the oxygen tries to get to the vital organs. And he just didn't look good. So they wheeled him in and they started working on him, and we of course had to be outside for a little bit after they gave him some oxygen and CPR. His color came back, so he was much better, but then we didn't know how long he'd been without oxygen.
We ended up losing him.
Yes, we did.
Tell me what you did to get through that. How did you get through that?
It's just kind of been a surreal moment because you're going, is this really happening? And when we decided to turn the life support off, I stepped out of the room because I didn't want to see him
suffer. Yeah. So what did you do after to get through it? What did you rely on? What did you depend on? Who helped you?
I have my father, John. Just realize that this is life. This happens. People have gone through this before. My ancestors all went through it. Pioneer women went through it. They lost many babies. Some lost them all. And I knew that this is maybe what I agreed to. So I said, okay, I can do this. I just put all my efforts into that. I just worked hard, and I knew that if I let God help me and the Holy Ghost, I'd be okay.
No pain that we suffer, no trial that we experience is wasted. All that we suffer and all that we endure, especially when we endure it patiently, builds up our characters, purifies our hearts, expands our souls, and makes us more tender and charitable. It is through sorrow and suffering, toil and tribulation, that we gain the education that we come here to acquire.
So I just do my best. It's hard for me to talk about Nathan and others like that. Yeah, we think about him often. He's always with us. He's kind of our guardian angel, and I just know that he gave me a stronger purpose to live more worthy so that we could be with him again.